or they work in the afternoon, but I'll show you the picture of who they are. Well, you know what, I think I know what's on the slide, so I'll start talking about them. Oh, okay then. Oh, you probably met Kimberly at the front desk, right? Okay. Tanya, front desk also, you probably met her. And Dominic, you don't see behind the scene. And Kay and Jessica, some of you probably see Jessica. She's the recreation assistant, and she works in the health center. Thank you, Chris. Okay, so let's go to some updates. So we have done wage increases to 165 associates. We give them an increase. Are you happy about that? Okay. So we increased housekeeping, laundry, maintenance, houseman, driver, front desk, kitchen, dishwasher, landing server, bistro server, healthcare servers, the GNAs, and recreation. Everybody got an increase. Some of them got an increase in August. Some of them got an increase in December. But the last 8 months, 7 months, we increased almost everybody. Now we have 243 employees, but about maybe I would say 40 are PRN, which is we use them when we need them. They're not here all the time. They fill out shift. The rest are full-time or part-time. But the majority of the employees got an increase, and they were very happy with that because the company did well. So we want to make sure we put money aside for the capital projects, but also give some to the associate to make sure we stay competitive. So the happiest staff were the housekeeping staff. They were very happy. So now I think we probably pay the highest when it comes to that department. Okay. Now, what's next slide? Food and beverage. Well, let's go back up to the second. So let's talk about what's happening in the food and beverage department. Some of you probably heard that Brian Kelly has resigned his position. He's moving on to another job. He took another job, and he's no longer with us. So he's gone. He's gone. We parted ways yesterday. Yes. Yeah, things happen. But also, so Brian resigned Monday. But also Monday, I also got a surprise that Richie resigned with him too. Both at the same time, the same hour. Well, the good news is, I brought Brenda back. Brenda, come back. Some of you know Brenda. She used to work for us. She's been with us for 7 years. And we're very happy to have her back. Brenda, you want to say something? I'm sure I know you're shy, but go ahead and say how you feel.
Nothing shy about me, but okay. Hello, everyone.
Get it closer.
Hello, everyone. So most of you may know me, and some don't, but my name is Brenda Malley. I worked here at Roland Park Place for 7 years, and I have been gone about 17 months. So I did retire, but I'm coming out of retirement because I certainly loved Roland Park Place. You know, I have a heart for this place, and I have a heart for everyone in this room. And so I'm back for a while, and you know, it's going to be my pleasure to make sure that your dining experience is the best that we can get, okay? As the ones that know me know that you could always depend on to ask Brenda, and if I can make it happen, I certainly would. And nothing has changed. And I'm very happy to see a lot of you here. And yeah, so it's going to be my pleasure to be working back with you. Thank you.
Welcome back, Brenda. So Brenda started this morning at 8:30, effective immediately. But also, we promoted Alvin to an assistant manager. Alvin, come over here, my friend. Give a microphone. I know, I was going to put you on the spot. So now you're a big cheese. Go ahead, say whatever you have to say.
Well, it's good to be here, and I'm going to continue to serve you guys the way I've always have, and make sure you're okay. Okay.
Sometimes change is good. Opens the door for other opportunities for other people to move up and take a next chance. So I think, so we're still going to be looking for somebody to oversee the whole department. And we have been working on interviewing a couple of candidates. We'll let you know. But also what we've done is we promoted people in the kitchen. We have 3 leads. Chef, you want to bring your leads back here so they see who's in charge of the kitchen? Come on, guys. This happened maybe a couple of months ago. We like to promote within. So, Chef, you take. Oh no, you can come with them, Chef. Don't hide. Don't be. I know you don't like to. Oh, tell us who they are. What the job promotion?
This is Stephon and Brandon. They are promoted to kitchen lead. So Brandon is in the front of the bistro for temporarily, and Stephon runs the kitchen and the back of the house in the morning. Introduce yourself.
How's everybody doing? Oh, good morning. How's everybody doing? I've been seeing since I've been out front, seeing a little bit of everybody, especially when I do omelets and pasta. So we're gonna keep trying to give y'all the best experience y'all can get and do everything we can do to make sure it's great and keep getting better and better every time we can.
Good morning, I'm Tavon. I wasn't expecting to be talking this morning. I'm just happy to help out and do the best I can.
Okay. Test. Oh, all right. As you can see, a lot of changes. I think it's positive change. I kind of knew a little bit this was going to happen. I had to be proactive and get Brenda here. I've been talking to Brenda for a couple of weeks now. And I was happy that she accepted my invitation to come back. So Brenda knows the system, everything well. She doesn't need much training. She can just walk in and do what she used to do. Some of you worked with her before. She is great. She's always here, Brenda. Sometimes we should tell her to go home because she's always here. But she's happy to come back and help us. So change in the food and beverage. Unfortunately, Richie's leaving. We didn't expect that, but I don't know the details. Why it came about 2 of them at the same time, the same hour, the same day. That's for people to interpret. I don't know. I'm just, it is what it is. We got to move on. Change is good sometimes, and I think we'll be fine. I'm not worried about that. All right. So, food and beverage update. Let me explain a little bit the pricing in the bistro, because there's a lot of confusion about the prices. They're too expensive, and some of the prices are too high. Back in 2020, when COVID hit, a few months after that, we made a decision to give a 20% discount on all items back in 2020, where Reggie was here. Does everybody remember Reggie? Okay. So what happened? Oh, you like him? I'm glad. One person applauded. That's good, though. We were recording all this. So back then, we made the decision to give 20% discount on all items because the employees used to eat at the bistro too. Do you remember that? The employees used to have. After COVID, the 20% was never taken out. So for the last 4 years, all items in the bistro have a 20% discount. Right? Follow me so far? Because it gets a little complicated now. Right? So, no, it's not going up. So the prices that you see posted for the grill, the new grill, right? All those prices, when you go to the cashier, 20% is taken out of that. Right? Now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get rid of the 20% so the price will be the right price. Like, let's say if if something costs $10, the real price is 8. We wanted to have that. It's more complicated. I thought it was communicated. It was never communicated. We had a lot of new residents started. That information was never communicated. The 20% discount on every single item you have there. Always has since 2020. So we wanted to make sure in the next few days, we're working with a company to take the 20% off. So the price will reflect the right price. So the $10 will be shown at 8. Say 20% will be taken. It's not reflected today, but you're still getting the 20% discount. We're still going to give the 20% discount because I think if I raise the prices, I think everybody's going to kill me. I'll be the next one leaving. So we're going to keep the 20%, but the new prices will reflect the real prices with 20% taken. We're working on that. You will see it next week. But right now, I know when you see, oh my God, I paid this for the burger, but you really don't pay the real price. There's a 20% discount when you go to the cashier, right? I want to make sure we're clear. Okay. That happened, I hope, on Monday. We're still working with the company. We can't do it in-house. It has to be done through the software company. And they've been working on that for weeks so right now. So the grill, we need to keep it closed on Sunday and Monday because Monday we have pasta bar. And it's hard to have staff at the pasta bar and staff at the grill. There's too much to do. And we have to put people from the kitchen, and the chef can't do that. So the grill is open only Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday brunch, and Monday you have the pasta bar, which seems to be a success. Okay, what's next? Did I miss anything? Anything? I just don't want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, philanthropy. Okay. Any question about food and beverage? Because a lot of food and beverage today. Shocked? Shocked and happy? Happy. Some of you that haven't worked with Brenda, you will see night and really, she's great. She really cares about the resident. Anyway, so she has integrity. She will do whatever it takes. She's really, when she says she loves the resident, she truly loves the resident. But some of you can testify how, I think when she left, a lot of you took her out for lunch outside here, and it was really pleasant. She remembers that. But we bring her back because she loves, when I called her, she said, if I work for you, I'll come back. And I said that you'll be working for me. Trust me, something is happening. And so she came back. So we're happy. She came out of retirement for us, for you and for me. So we're grateful. Okay. Any questions, comments? Who has a phone?
So my understanding was the 20% was for residents. When we have guests or other people coming from the outside, will they be charged a higher rate?
I do not know how it's charged right now. Is anybody from the food and beverage here, or they all left? They all left? God, I will get back to you. I know the brunch, there's no discount. I know that. The other stuff, I'm not sure how it's been charged. I have to check with Richie before he goes to tell us. Any other questions? Michelle, you are next.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you all? Oh, this is a great crowd. There are a lot of you. That's good. Good. For those of you who might not know me and are new, I'm Michelle Lacey. I'm the Director of Philanthropy here at Roland Park. I've been here for almost 6 years, so it is my delight to be here, as well as what Brenda said too. She loved working here. I love working here too, so it's my pleasure. Sam and I have talked a little bit recently about our capital projects for next year, slated for next fiscal year. And included in that is a bus, a new bus. This is not news to you. This has been information that's been shared to you before. But I'm thrilled that we get to open our spring appeal with an opportunity to support the bus. It got me thinking about my first trip. When I first came to Roland Park, like I said, almost 6 years ago, one of the first things I did was take a trip with our activities people. It was Marie then and Jen. And our trip was to the Walters Art Gallery, and then for lunch afterwards at Gertrude's. It was in the winter. We all boarded the bus, and the Walters is just a few, a couple of miles away. And the first thing I noticed was how bouncy the bus was, and kind of everybody being thrown all over the place. And it was winter, and our coats, we couldn't hang them up anywhere. And of course, there wasn't any Wi-Fi, and that's what I was interested in too. So it was interesting. I thought, well, we could do this for a short bus trip, a couple of miles, but I really could not see that kind of a bus transporting our residents any further than that. Well, in fact, all these years later, we still have that same bus. So, but not for long, which is great. What I did notice too on that trip, and I got to spend an afternoon and really get to know everybody, was how much fun everyone was having, how inclusive everyone was, how this was a really active, interested group that wanted to continue learning and continue traveling. And it struck me that it was maybe unique to Roland Park Place. Maybe this being able to get off campus and travel and continue to perpetually learn was unique to Roland Park. And in fact, I think it is. I think that our number of activities, and our activities folks could certainly attest to this, that we are well known and always have been well known for the numbers and the quality of trips that we offer. So perfect time for us to think about purchasing a new bus. Back. I started thinking just a little bit about how fortunate we are here. And I thought, it's not just me. I think that older adults in other communities, not as fortunate as ours, might not have the opportunity to travel as much as we do. And I pulled up information from the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine. And in fact, they do report that a quarter of adults 65 and older are considered socially isolated. It increases their risk of heart disease, stroke, and dementia. And right on the heels of that, the Lancet Commission, which we're aware of if we're involved in medicine at all, their commission on dementia concluded that 1/2 of dementia diagnoses are potentially preventable, that combating isolation through travel and engagement like we do is critical for our population. Slide 2. So the need for the bus came from you guys. No surprise, you're traveling and it was uncomfortable. And thanks to you for bringing that to our attention. And then, of course, you came together as a group and organized a bus committee. And that bus committee is chaired by Elaine Logan. I don't know if you're here, Elaine. Yeah. Oh, hi, Elaine. Thanks. And your team, Ron Berninger, John Bond, Dottie Cunningham, Kathleen Deasy, Lee Park, Clive Schiff, Claudia Sumler, and Ann Wilson. You guys worked tirelessly. We know you did, almost a year, or if not more, to identify a good bus that was easily navigable in and around the neighborhood, but for long distances too. And you came up with the one behind, that one. Your research showed us what you wanted was something that was ultra comfortable and navigable and could seat 16 people. And the front of the bus had easy access for wheelchair, which the current bus does not. And then the HVAC access would be in the bus and not under the bus, which is where it is currently located. And I've heard those stories. And upgraded seatbelts and a PA system that could actually be effective. So Paul and Marie could be heard throughout the trips. And Wi-Fi and USB ports in each seat and tinted windows even. So you guys could see out, but others can't see in. So long list of add-ons. So obviously it's a custom build. And we know that. There's a picture of it. All right, so thanks to the bus committee and Kirill, yeah, Elaine. Well, that's just what I'm gonna say. So thanks to Kirill, and they gave me this data, by the way, so, and Darius for their administrative support. The bus is on order, and to my knowledge, if I'm correct, right, Kirill, expecting that the delivery, it's being built, and the delivery will be by the end of the calendar year. So you guys know this probably better than I do. So, but that's a huge step, and that wouldn't have happened if we didn't have you all guiding us and helping to make that decision. Slide 4, please. The cost, obviously cost involved with this. The cost of the bus is little over $160,000. We have, the good news is that we have such good support, incredible support from management and from the bus committee and residents, you guys, and the board, that I already have a $7,000 seed donation, which is awesome. And that is obviously incentive for us to move forward and raise more for this initiative. I want to tell you, 5,000 of that came from a former board member's husband who made the donation in memory of his wife, who loved to travel. So his gift to us here at Roland Park, she loved Roland Park, serving on the board for many years. It was a very thoughtful way for them to make a donation. And then another donation, sizable as well, came in from a current board member, and his mother resides at Roland Park Place, and she's no longer able to travel, but spent many a year while she lived here. When she was able to travel, she traveled. So a real attachment, the gifts that we receive, and purpose behind their giving. The balance then would leave us at about $153,000. You know, this time of year is typically when we appeal for capital projects. Sam and the finance team has gone through their budget, identify projects that need to be that we need to move forward with. Always, as a 501c3 and a nonprofit, we're looking for donation dollars to help defray the cost and help us meet our budget, obviously. This time, you may remember in 2022 was our last small capital project, we call it, and that was for the cafeteria. And without your support, it wouldn't be there. A beautiful new space for our associates to congregate and have lunch every day. It's open for all shifts. It is just something that we should have had a long time ago, and through donations, we made it happen. We've been operational there for about over a year now, and it's a beautiful new clean space. Just serving and recognizing the good work that our associates do. This is an opportunity in a capital appeal of this nature for us to continue to make the community better by accepting donations for the bus. So I know Sam had some experience in the past. When he was in Florida, he had a bus campaign of this very, very similar nature. And there was a naming opportunity involved in that too. So Sam, maybe you'll say something.
So we had a much bigger bus. They wanted a much bigger bus because they did more trips in Florida. Obviously, it's always sunny and nice. And they bought I don't remember, $250,000 bus, but a resident donated a substantial amount of money, and her and her husband had their names on a plaque inside the bus. When you step up, you see a big plaque saying, you know, because they were the biggest donor. Obviously, a lot of people contribute, but they had their name on the bus. But I have experience with this kind of thing.
So I encourage you, I invite you to think about giving to a cause of this nature. We would gladly accept it. You've been so generous in all of your support of each of our funds. So I can't leave without saying how much we appreciate it, how much you directly, your donations, talk about giving local. Everyone wants their donation dollars to stay local and to see them in action. That's the beauty of donating to Roland Park. Your tax deductible donations stay right here and improve our community, your home, every day. So thank you. I really appreciate having a chance to speak to you and to see you. Look for something from me in your mailboxes in the next couple of weeks. And thanks again.
Thanks, Michelle. So next would be a presentation by Sheldon. As every single year, we go through the finances and tell you what the increase will be for next year. Fun times, right? Part of the presentation, he will also walk you through the capital projects for next year. A lot of things have to be changed because building 1 is 40 years old this August, and a lot of things needs to be changed. There's a lot of items that have to be changed. We started changing a few items, but we have so many items that needs to be changed next year. It's close to over $2 million. Items that you might not see. The dishwasher, the washer and dryers downstairs, the ironer downstairs, the doors to the walk-in freezers. There's so many items that have been there, some of them 20, 25 years, and some of them needs to be changed. So Sheldon has a whole presentation for you every single year to walk through this. So this has been approved by the board finance committee already. So you know that this has been vetted. Sheldon, Mr. Numbers, it's all yours. Thank you, Michelle.
Good morning, everybody. And like Sam said, I got numbers and I love numbers and I hope you'll enjoy them too. So if you can, we're gonna have to make things a little bit bigger. If you can focus on the table on the top. Oops. Oops. I guess we're done. There we go. Okay, so the top table is something that's put together by Ziegler. Now, those of you who might not know, Ziegler is the preeminent financial institution in the CCRC space. They do a lot of loans and they do a lot of advising, and we've dealt with them in the past. We've had conversations with them, and they have a lot of data. So they put together a history, a recent history of the percentage increases to the independent living monthly fees. And if you look at the average, I'm going to focus right now on the average. So since 2015, for a number of years, it's been averaging right around 3% is the average increase. In 2022, it went up to 4.7%, the average increase. And then this past year, 6.24 was the average increase. So we have some better news industry-wide. For 2024, so Ziegler did a survey, and I was one of the participants to that survey. And they're showing, for instance, the bottom quartile is averaging, or the median is 4%. The actual median is 5%. The average increase for independent living monthly fees is slightly above 5%. So it was at 3, went up to 4.7, went higher, and now it's trending back in the right direction. If we can focus a little bit on the bottom of the page, please. So this says Ziegler because the top table is Ziegler. This bottom, which is Roland Park's data, that was put together by Sheldon, not Ziegler. So, but I wanted to show how we did over the years, over the past 6 years, how we've done compared to the industry average. So taking the most recent information first, we had an increase of 5%, significantly less than the 6.24% of the industry. In 2022, we were at 4%, industry average 4.7%. 2020, 2021, 0. Enough said. 2018 and 2019, we were half of the industry average. So we've done, thankfully, a good job over the past of keeping the monthly fee increases significantly less than the industry average. This table here is a graph of the table that I just went through, put together by Ziegler. But if we look at towards the bottom of that page, so part of the survey asked the participants what were the key drivers to the monthly increases. And interestingly enough, but not surprising, the survey's results were very consistent with what we're experiencing here at Roland Park. The number one reason or driver for monthly fee increases was wages and labor. It's very difficult to retain good people, and a lot of our employees are feeling financial strain, and therefore it dwarfs, you can see there were 181 mentions of wages and labor, which dwarfs everything else. The second most popular driver was inflation. Those of you who keep up with the news know that we did not get good news, unfortunately, yesterday on the inflation front from the CPI. The third most mentioned, food costs, and that correlates with inflation, and that was quite a bit of a driver as far as the expenses. And then number 4 was insurance. That also is consistent with what we're experiencing here at Roland Park Place, where we've had insurance expenses up about 10% recently. And that's something that's across the whole industry, and in fact, across the whole country. So one of the things not mentioned on that list, surprisingly, was capital costs. So very much like myself and many people in the room, our building is, the first building, Building 1, is not as young as it used to be. So there are quite a bit of capital needs. You can see facilities has close to $1.6 million for capital needs for fiscal year 25. That's the upcoming year. By the way, just let me take a step back. And again, I'll take a further step back. We operate on a fiscal year, not on a calendar year. And what the current fiscal year is fiscal year 24. This is for fiscal year 25, which starts July and ends in June of 25. So this is something that we're putting together for the budget for fiscal year 25. For fiscal year 24, our capital needs are forecasted to be $2.2 million. So for our budget, I'll talk a little bit about process. The department heads are tasked with going through their department and identifying where there's a capital need. Then they go back, then they give that request list to Sam and I, and Sam says, no. Go back, and you got to cut this out, you got to cut that out. We have to be careful with the residents' money. Of course, if something is needed and would have an impact on the residents, then it makes it through to the second and then to the final draft. But it's watched. We don't spend money when it's not needed. So facilities is expecting $1.6 million in capital needs for fiscal year 25. We have some other needs, but what it boils down to is we're projecting $2.1 million in capital needs for fiscal year 25. With all that said, I wanted to, before we just to take another step back, we keep on taking steps back, but we'll get to where we need to get to. Before we compared where Roland Park Place is with the industry average, this slide and the next slide will compare where we've been versus our geographical competitors. So we have Blakehurst, North Oaks, Edenwald, Oakcrest Village, Broadmead, and of course, Roland Park Place. And what immediately stands to mind is that if, you know, there's like a game, what doesn't belong in the picture? I mean, you can see from the graph how different we are consistently with our competitors, how much lower. Just using 2023, which is the last year that there's data for everyone, because 2024, so those organizations that have a calendar year, we already have their 2024 data. But Roland Park Place and Broadmead, we have a fiscal year, so therefore we don't have 2024 data, but we still, for everyone, have 6 years of data because we go a year back. So just focusing on last year, the 2023, Blakehurst 8.5, North Oaks 6, Edenwald 8.3, Oakcrest 7.8, Broadmead 6, and we were at 5. And then, so, but you get the picture, picture's worth 1,000 words, that we've been substantially less, not only than the industry, but our competitors as well. Now this graph shows the same data, but it's compounded. So if you take the past 6 years' monthly fee increases and you compound them, you can see you can see the impact of those increases. So over the past 6 years, I'm picking on Blakehurst, their monthly fee increases amounted to 36.75. We at 12.5 are less than half of our nearest competitors, less than half. That all being said, for this coming fiscal year, effective July 1st, the monthly service fee increase will be 4.5%, which is lower than everyone else for 2024 who's already put in their increases in our geographic area. Broadmead is projecting it to be at 4%. So we're slightly above Broadmead, but quite a bit lower than some of the others. And aside from them, we're the lowest increase in our geographic area. And as I said before, this would be effective July 1st. Now, as a separate but related presentation, I'm going to show some high points of our fiscal year 25 budget, and then I'll open up to questions, because our budget is our driver for our increases. So some of the key expense assumptions is that and I shouldn't, it's not just expense, but it's expense and revenue. But we do project to reach stabilization in the summer of 2024. So occupancy has fluctuated, but generally has been going up. And because of the expansion, and that led to some empty apartments in building 1. So by the summer, and perhaps even a little bit earlier, we believe we will hit stabilization, which is in the mid-90s as far as occupancy. That's a key assumption in our budget. We have buy-in from the VPs and the directors in this process. So we are projecting revenue to be flat compared to our run rate right now as of February 29th. And we do expect our expenses to increase by approximately 2.4%. Some of the highlights of the budget is the continued resident programming, which will include the hiring of an additional activity coordinator for independent living and funds for enhanced trips and overnight excursions, hopefully taken with our new bus when it comes in. Salaries and wages, once again, contain a 2.5% merit increase, and that in itself creates an increase year over year of $260,000. The next bullet point is something that Sam discussed at length before. We went through all the positions and we identified those that were not being paid by market rate, the market rate. And again, we need to retain our employees and continue to give that high level of service that you all deserve and have grown accustomed to have. And that has an impact of additional $185,000 of expense. We've also added resources for our IT network and cybersecurity enhancements, as well as audio and visual technology. We will continue to use LPNs and GNAs when we can, as long as it doesn't erode our level of service. And then, as I alluded to before, insurance increases of approximately 10% due to overall market inflation, nothing specific to Roland Park. We are going to, and we've budgeted for additional staffing in the coffee shop and pub. And we've also budgeted, and we've already experienced it in fiscal year 24, increased food and beverage costs, as we have a very enhanced menu that's become a selling point here at Roland Park Place. I prepared a couple of charts, pie charts, so that the residents can see where the money goes. So you can see, thank you, Dee. You can see healthcare services, 26.1% of the expenses are budgeted for those services, dining at 19.7, admin at 19.3, operations 11.5, and you can't, can you make it a little bit smaller? So utilities and property tax eat up almost 10%, and then you see the housekeeping, laundry activities, and so on. So you get a good idea of where the expenses and where your fees are being utilized. And then I put together our final slide, which instead of showing it by department, shows it by type. So you can see salaries and wages take up 45% of the expenses, taxes and employee taxes and benefits 11%, purchase services at 17%, and then you can see some of the other expenses as well. And again, this is the budget and the fees are something which are tightly scrutinized and a very thorough process. And that's all I have. Thank you. Any questions?
Microphone.
Yeah, Sheldon, you said something I didn't understand, and I want you to clarify. You said you expect to achieve stabilization by this summer. What is being stabilized? What does that mean?
So when we brought the new building online, the focus was filling those apartments. As those apartments, as the focus, and rightfully so, of the apartments, of the new residents was on those, the expansion, so the number of unoccupied apartments in the existing building started to climb, which was expected. So there was a degree of unoccupied apartments. Right now, those apartments are going to be occupied, and we go from a position where we have apartments because of the expansion to a point where we have apartments just because that's during the regular course of business, apartments become available as people move to different levels of care or discharge, and then we bring in new residents. I hope I've answered your question.
Well, to sum up what he said, 95% occupancy is stabilization for us. 95% occupancy is being stabilized. I mean, there's enough revenue coming to offset expenses. That's stabilization for us.
Okay, so do we currently have enough revenue to offset expenses at this time, or is that what you expect to kick in the summer?
Right, those are two different things. There's occupancy, and then there's having enough revenue to meet expenses. Now, they're very tightly correlated. So I'm happy to say that we are in a strong financial position, and yes, we are able to meet our expenses. And we project and budget that we can continue to do so.
It wasn't the case in the last several years. Last several years where, I mean, for the last year we started making headways. Last few years, we had more expenses than revenue. So what happened is, we had $25 million in our investments, and we take all the interest from those investments and we use it to offset expenses for many, many years, maybe since 2014, 15. That's why we wanted to build a new tower that would have a lot of revenue coming, but very little expenses, because the management is already here, the expenses are already here. You don't have to hire another CEO, another finance. So the flow through is much better from the new building. Now that offsets the expenses. So now, starting this year, the revenue is enough to offset the expenses. So we're in a much better position. Good question. It took us over 3 months to get this done. It's a long process. We definitely probably finalized it last week, because we still had to tweak things and go back and look at the things that make sense, don't make sense. The team has done a great job, and we continue to find better ways to operate. For instance, things that we do, we can talk for hours about how we better manage. For instance, I always challenge the team to find a vendor who can give us a better price. And there's always somebody who wants to get into the market. Small fish want to get into the tank. So we find a vendor who says, I can't get into the market, give me an opportunity. So we become one of the major clients, but the cost is probably maybe 1/4 less. And we've been doing that for the last couple of years, right? We're about to look at somebody who, through this company that we get all the papers from them. We got a new company that's going to give us 20%. They want to get in, same products, same quality, same everything. Why not? That's how we continue to effectively manage the expenses, to find people who can give us discounts.
So on a slightly side question, but we've just, all of us, I assume, have just completed our income tax. And one of the advantages of living at Roland Park Place is noticing the large tax deduction we get for part of our fees. And over the last several years, and we get a letter from you folks saying, this is how much you can consider tax deductible. And over the last several years, the dollar amount that we can consider tax deductible has been going down. What are the drivers of that change?
The key driver there, so again, having lower expenses or keeping a tight control of expenses does have that negative side to it, if you can say that there's less medical expenses for each one of the residents to claim is a medical deduction. But the main driver is that as there are more residents, that healthcare expense dollar gets divvied up to more residents, so that your per person expense for our healthcare services goes down. But so generally it's a good thing, but it has that negative impact, slightly negative impact to your medical expense deduction. And I did notice it when I was preparing my letter and my calculations.
No questions? Wow, we worked so hard on this. I was expecting more questions. I think him and I are exhausted. We need a vacation. I think one of the key drivers we really need to focus on, and I know that you know this, we want to stay competitive with our staff. We hear from staff and management that people are calling them for an extra $1, $2, an extra $5,000. That's the competition. I know we have a lot of managers sitting out there. We get calls from headhunters weekly, sometimes every 2-3 days, because the market is really not what it used to be. People are leaving healthcare, and the C-suites, which is mostly vice president and up, there's not enough. People are leaving. People are retiring early. Last year, when we went to the leading age, we heard that 25% of CEOs retired early. So now they don't have CEOs to take care of these organizations. So we need to take care of our staff, our management team, to make sure we keep stability. Sometimes people leave for different reasons, like the food and beverage, whatever reason they leave. It's wish them best of luck. They probably want to go somewhere else where they want to make a change. But we try to remain competitive, especially with our frontline staff. It's so hard to find people. And everybody's trying to steal our staff all the time. So I think there's a lot of departments right now by doing this increase. I know it's a lot of money, but I feel 100% where competitive is not probably the best of the people that we pay around, to make sure they're not leaving us for $1, like especially the front desk, housekeeping, servers. I mean, think about the servers. For some of you that remember, been here with us for a while. When I started here, the server used to make $11.25 an hour. $11.25, right? Guess how much they make today? $16.23. Right? Much better. So we take care of our staff so they don't go anywhere else. So we pay competitively. I know a lot of residents say, you got to pay them, you got to pay them. We do pay them. We really do pay. It's just that people are catching up also. And that's why the number one that everybody is saying, the increase is based on wages. Everybody's doing the same thing. We're not the only one. Everybody's beefing up their wages, and they're putting money toward wages and benefits. We're trying to do the same. And 2 years from now, we're going to have to do it again. It's never going to stop. So we focus on that. We want to make sure our staff are happy. But also the managers also. We need to take care of the managers. I took care of several managers to make sure, and VPs, to make sure they're not taken somewhere else. I can tell you, the people that are sitting right there, the VPs, as soon as the people, yeah, Sheldon, sorry, Sheldon, VP. The VPs, I got to tell you, since the word that came out of the rank at number one, the call starts coming. You know why? Why the call start coming? They're thinking, I want to get somebody from number one so they can help me with some of the services and maybe be ranked, because most of the people around us were not ranked. So those are the things we have to be, I'm conscientious to make sure I keep my staff stable. So the wages are the number one focus for us to make sure that we continue to keep the employees so they can service you. We do seem to hire great employees, right? They're all great attitude, great. I mean, every time I hear from you is you love the employees, and some of you tell me, what do you do to them? How come they have such a wonderful personality? And I told some of you, we take them downstairs, we shock them, we have a machine, and we send them up, and that's how they are. And if somebody does do a great job, we send them back downstairs to carry, we shock them, bring them back up. I'm just kidding. We do hire personality, really. You are just kidding, Miss Wilson. We don't do that. We put people through a lot of interview process, and we look for the personality more so than we had people that come in with 4 or 5 pages of resume. It doesn't mean they fit the criteria. They have to go through HR first before they have to interview with 2 people in HR before they even make it to the first manager. And then the whole process, and then we pick that person based on a lot of criteria. We do behavioral interview. The resume sometimes is not impressive. We just need to look for the personality. And it seems that the team is doing a great job hiring the right people to service you. We'll continue. Any questions? Sheldon, you're off the hook today. That was easy for you.
There will be letters going out over the next few weeks formally announcing this increase and what your new monthly fee will be. Again, it starts July 1st. Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you.
You can sit. You're not off the hook. Yes.
I'm wondering, I think in the past years, you have given us a booklet with all of this information in it.
Yeah, did we do that last year? Do you remember?
Yes,
If we did, we can recreate.
like the last couple of years. And it would be lovely to have that again.
What we showed today?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is available if you want. You know what we did last year? We made copies, had them available at the executive office. Anybody wants to pick them up? Yeah.
Perhaps it could go on Icon instead of increasing the paper usage.
Yeah, we're trying to, by the way, thank you for it.
Exactly.
We're really trying to minimize paper. We spend so much money on paper here, on copiers and copies, the menu, the weekly, a lot. We have to be, we wanted to contribute to the environment, and by design, we're trying to buy some electric cars next year. We're doing a test drive next week. We need to go that direction, really try to be environmentally friendly. So we need to start looking at that area. So Icon is the way to go, please. Any questions? Before we adjourn, it's 12 o'clock, time for lunch. So you'll see Brenda. Are you ready to hit the road, Brenda? We're so excited to have you here. Thank you, Brenda, for coming back. I appreciate it. Yes, Miss DC. A microphone, Miss DC.
I just wanted to know whatever happened to that bill that was in the state legislature about the
thank you.
payment. We never heard one way or the other. Just a yes or no, up or down. I don't
Excellent
need
question.
anything.
So the bill, for some of you that want to stay for this, the bill that was going through MACRA. Remember, they wanted to change the way we reimburse. That's dead in the water. That did not go anywhere, right? I think that we were able to, we met with a lot of legislators, and we explained to them that it doesn't work for us. They did not know that we had different contracts, and they're educated now. So that bill is dead in the water. We're not reimbursing somebody within 2 months. They understand that they jeopardize the financial safety of CCRCs. It's gone. The other one, there's some things that changed, which we do most of it. But what I'll do is I will, next town hall, I will let you know what has been approved. But it's not final 100%. But it's 90% finalized. It has to go through the final approval, and then it should be done probably before the end of April. So next town hall, I'll let you know what has been approved. I don't want to tell you it's going to be approved 100%, but it went through 2 committees. It has 1 more committee to go through for approval. But the leading age attorneys, because I'm on the board, they think that it will be approved 100%, but it's not finalized until it's. But I'm happy because we were really nervous about what it's going to do financially to us in the future, and it was going to jeopardize the way we're going to sell the contract. So it's dead in the water. However, I think it's going to come back. I don't think this is end of it. I think it's going to come back. So we have to continue to meet with our legislators and continue to educate them and show them actuaries. If we did this, what is going to look like in the future if we just went with this, the idea that we need to reimburse family members after 2 months of the resident passing or leaving the community, which could be very dangerous for our CC. I mean, financially, it will not help any of us. Because, most of the money that we have, we use it for capital projects to do these things. So the money in, money out, we can't have money out, no money in. We will not have enough money to operate our cash. Good question, though. All right, well, have a wonderful afternoon, everybody. Where did Brenda go? Oh, she left. Look at that. She's serving lunch?